I'm in Llívia. Llívia is in Spain, and Llívia is surrounded by France. 1.8 kilometers that way is France. We drove through the Pyrenees from the Spanish side and were spat out, and at the town of Puigcerdà we carried on through French territory for about 2 minutes and then gone back into Spain. So the question is why, and what is this all about? What the hell is Llívia, and why am I surrounded by France? Now, if you didn't know you'd gone back into Spain, you would probably think you were still in France, because there's no Spanish here. It's all done in Catalan, and if you are not versed, you might just think it looks a bit like sort of drunk French on the signs. So it feels just like another, almost like an alpine, Swissy resort for skiing and outdoor work. It's quite pleasant, but apart from the little flags and the language, you probably wouldn't know you've come back into Spain having passed through France. This area has always been populated. The Iberians were here, the Romans came in as they do, turned it into a place called Llívia, became Llívia. But it wasn't until 1659, the Treaty of the Pyrenees between France and Spain, that things started to change. So Spain ceded to France the villages of northern Cerdaña, which is this area that we're in. However, they noticed a little point of interest, which was that Llívia was actually a town, not a village. So the Spanish kept Llívia, and everything around it became French territory. Probably they wanted to keep hold of it anyway, but that's why you have this little pinched off part of Spain surrounded by France. They got it on a technicality. The Treaty of the Pyrenees was signed on Pheasant Island, Isla de Faisan, over in the Basque country, on a little tiny island in a river that cuts France and Spain in two. And that island itself is owned by both countries, and it is called a condominium, and it is the smallest in the world. So this Pyrenee area, a lot of weird stuff going on. Anyway, where's the car? So this is a fun, quirky example of a Spanish exclave in France. Also, the French would call it an enclave. But there's another weird thing about an hour away to the west, which is a principality, as it's a small country, with the famous name of Andorra. So I think we should go and check that out as well. There's more weird things up in these here hills. It's also astonishingly hot, so apologise for the gibbering and the sweating. Welcome to Andorra, the 16th smallest country, principality in the world. Only about 470 square kilometers, completely locked in by the Pyrenees. And it's a strange one. It's got a strange history. Since 1278, the status of this little country has been shared between France and Spain. It was the Bishop of Salud, where we're staying tonight, and the Counts of Foix in France. They couldn't decide who should get it, so they were like, we'll share it. Since 1607, it's basically been Seyur d'Urgell and essentially the French president who are kind of running the place, even though they've kind of left it to do what it wants. And in 1993, they had a referendum to maintain itself as an autonomous principality, a little small country, which it is. And there's barely any tax here. There's no income tax, and it's, if you want cheap gas and cheap products, it's great. The Spainophile John Hooper once said, it's a mixture of Shangri-La and Heathrow duty-free. Now, this is very much a skiing area. I'm now going to go down into Andorra la Vella, which is the capital, such as it is one. And I expect to see a less glamorous side and a place to get some cheap booze and cheap fragrance. It's worth mentioning they do have their own license plates. They mostly speak Catalan, They have their own little fire brigade, police service. It's kind of a pocket-sized how to make a nation. Now there are still some remnants of the older side of Andorra, and you can see here, this is the church in the village of Canillo. This is very cute. You can hear the water raging down, but the moment you step 30 meters down, you get into all of the classic ski resort vibe. Now the duty-free side of Andorra is well known, and they all started back in the Civil War, 1936-39, and World War II, when it remained neutral. In fact, Andorra offered itself for both sides of the Civil War in Spain to come and find sort of refugee status. And that smuggling nature, which was really prevalent back then, people were smuggling goods in and out during the wars, converted itself into this freewheeling, tax-free little country that we see today. It is very pretty though. Although I think it's worth mentioning, I just bought 3 ham and cheese baguettes, 2 orange juices and a flavoured water for 26 euros. So it's not all cheap here. And they were terrible. Welcome to the mountain-circled duty-free paradise of Andorra. Oh, Mum's gonna check out the booze. Outlet, kitchen stuff, more jewellery. Jesus. Difference between the countryside and the civilization. Now, we finished our day at Salud, which is the Spanish side of who kind of ran Andorra. But we're not staying in the centre of Salud because we can't be bothered. We're on the outskirts, but there are some nice views. So I thought I'd show you the views from the people who are running the shops, this side of things. So in conclusion, if there is a conclusion to be made, just the interesting little nooks that are hiding up here in the Pyrenees, which dictated the borderlands between France and Spain. So here in Salud, the bishop decides to run this side of things for Andorra, and on the French side we've got the president in theory running things for them. There's Llívia, this little Spanish town completely consumed by France just because of a technicality, and all of this often was decided by things signed way off on little islands out in the middle of the Basque Country. There's not really a conclusion to be drawn. I just hope you enjoyed this little jaunt around the Pyrenees. I realise this, for a gastro traveller video, has not had much gastro, but the little isolated hotel where we're staying, just down there, does have a restaurant. So that's gastro. Right, I need to try and eat my peas with a fork.
What's in it? Mushrooms?
Mushrooms, hamon, cabbage, spinach.
Hot or cold?
Hot and pretty good. So we're in this little hotel having dinner. I'm having butifarra, which is big old sausage and some chips. And the waitress, or the lady who runs this place, speaks Russian because she's from Russia, and so do I. And seeing my interest in Russia and knowing I wanted sauce, she goes to the back room and brings this called Ajika Gruzia, which is a Georgian South Caucasus sauce. What do you think of it, by the way?
It's
spicy.
Peppery. It should be on something.
Yeah. This is this.
Bread.
Bravo. Right, scratch that. Before I turn in. Okay, gastro traveller. I have to travel a bit more. I want to show you, I want to make sure I see up close the cathedral that ran the side of things here. And then I'll let you go. Let's try down here. Always take the small roads, it's much more fun. There she is. There you actually have it. We'll finish now. So that is the Salud Cathedral that used to share Andorra with the, or still does, with the French president. Anyway, now like and subscribe. Go home and go to sleep. That's what I'm gonna do. Bye for now.